Bills will not make the playoffs in 2023. The way they're looking right now, they don't look like they're going to make it. But I'm feeling Josh Allen, that defense is beat up. I think they're going to get it figured out. They always seem to. They always seem like they have this stretch in the middle of the season where the Bills just don't look like a good football team. For a couple of years in a row now, that's what it has been. So are the Bills going to bounce back this year? Is Josh Allen going to start taking care of the football? And one thing I don't like about Josh Allen at all is I noticed that Josh Allen, he is very, like I think he thinks he is above the team. I think he thinks he is above his teammates because he goes and sits on the bench and looks at his iPad or whatever he's on, the Microsoft service, and he doesn't even go and talk to teammates. He doesn't, traverse around the sideline and talk to everyone and see how everyone's doing and just kind of make sure the team is there. I don't see any leadership from Josh Allen. It doesn't seem like that he even cared that they lost either. He really didn't. He doesn't seem like a leader to me. He doesn't seem like, yeah, he's very talented, but I think he's full of himself. Truth is, I think that's the truth of Josh Allen. I think he's full of himself. And I think it's showing in the rest of the team. They're not really playing as hard. They're not really, giving it their all, I don't think. I don't really see that. That's why this team is inconsistent as well. That's not the leader aspect of it. That's him just playing football aspect of it. Is he's so inconsistent, and usually once you get into his head, once you hit him a couple times and get him mad and get him playing bad, he can't refocus. Josh Allen has a lot of work to do. Is Josh Allen the next Carson Wentz or quarterback that has one or two really impressive years and he just tampers off and he's no longer getting fortunate, and his arm gets him out of a lot of bad situations. He makes a lot of bad decisions. He's thrown the most interceptions in the league so far. And yeah, that is more than Jordan Love. That is more than Desmond Ridder. That is more than some of these worst quarterbacks in the league. Now, he's absolutely not worse than these guys. He's not one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. His running ability is impressive. But his arm gets him out of a lot of bad situations. Really makes him look better than he is at times. And sometimes being a quarterback, if you have an elite arm, awesome. But if you can't make the right decisions, if you can't make the important throws on 3rd and 4th down, or even the nice little drags, do the little things right. I don't think the Bills do the little things right. Yeah, the defense is beat up, this and that, but in general, they didn't do the little things right. And it shows. It catches up with you. And, the concerning thing is, they lost to the Patriots a couple weeks ago, and the Patriots scored, 29 points against them? I don't think the Patriots have come close to that. They couldn't even score 10 against a poor Colts defense, a crappy Colts defense that couldn't even score 10 against them. I don't get it. And what's concerning is they, it's not like they lost to good football teams. It's not like they're losing to great football teams. That win versus the Dolphins, 48-20, is like a big, how did they do that? But then you lose to the Broncos, and then you lose to the Patriots. It doesn't make sense to me. And on top of that, let's take a peek at their remaining schedule. They play the New York Jets. I said they beat them the second time around, but you don't know what Josh Allen you're going to get. You don't know what team you're going to get in general. Eagles, probably a loss. Dallas, probably a loss. Chargers, probably a loss. Pats, can they beat them the second time around? I sure hope so. Miami in the last week, probably a loss. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. And the Dolphins, while the Bills are here struggling versus the Patriots, the Broncos, the Dolphins are just taking this division away. They're the clear favorites. This is their division to lose. I don't see anyone else in this division catching up with the Dolphins. And the Dolphins' remaining schedule isn't even that bad. They've gotten through a lot of their tough games. They still have some tough games, absolutely, but a lot of them they have home. Saying the Bills will not make the playoffs, it's so difficult to see them not making it because of how talented they are. So yeah, let's take a peek at the playoff picture itself. The Bills are in the bubble. They're not in. They're not even having a wild card spot. So the Dolphins are 6-3. So technically, they're one game behind the Dolphins, considering they beat them. But they have all these tough games coming up, and unless they really get their crap together, I don't think they're going to win the division. I don't think they're going to overcome the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins. This is the Dolphins' division to lose right now. But you look at this playoff picture, right? You got the Texans, the Browns, and the Steelers in there. So the Bills, the Texans are playing really good. It's looking like the Texans might end up taking the AFC South, as we talked about earlier. And if they do, right, the Jaguars fall into wild card. The Bills need to have a better record than the Jaguars because the Jaguars beat them. The Jaguars beat them. And they lost to the Bengals. They lost to the Jets, who are 4-5. They just lost to the Broncos, who are 4-5. They're getting themselves into a situation where if they keep losing, if they lose some of these really tough games on the stretch, like Philly, Dallas, the Chargers, and Miami in the last week, they're going to need some help to get in. They're not going to get in on their own. Who even says they're going to be in the picture at this point if they're not eliminated by losing to some of those teams on the stretch already? It's not looking good for them. It's not. But to say they're going to miss the playoffs, I'm going to go warm. I'm not going to say it's hot. I'm not going to say it's cold. I'm going to say it's unlikely, but they can very well do it. They can very well make the playoffs. I would not be shocked one bit if they make the playoffs, and they're looking like the Bills that we know. But we have to see it. We have to see it first, and they have to get it together down the stretch here when they're playing some of the most difficult teams to play in the NFL. But they always have this mid-season stretch where they just suck. And is it the inconsistencies? Is it Josh Allen being inconsistent? I feel like the team is lost. I feel like Josh Allen doesn't have this team. I don't think he's a leader. I think he's kind of like Russell Wilson in terms of he thinks he's above the team in a way. I think he's above his teammates. That's what he thinks anyways.